Masters starts on Thursday, par 3 tournament tomorrow, and we get ready to roll. We love the Masters. Who doesn't, right? Dottie Pepper loves it with ESPN, CBS golf analyst, and our absolute Capital Region native joins us here on Big Board Sports on this Tuesday morning. Dottie, Roger, and Chris, good morning.
Gentlemen, good morning. How are you?
Good.
Morning, Dottie.
How's the weather at Augusta?
Oh, better than here, please.
Let's see. Where's Jason Goff when we need him? It's beautiful today. We're headed for a high of about 85. And then tomorrow's par 3 is actually a little bit in question because of some bad storms that are lined up to come rolling through here. And then a completely different Thursday and Friday. I don't know if we're going to get to 60 degrees on Thursday, and it's supposed to be howling.
Wow.
So different place by the time they hit that first shot on Thursday.
Yeah, interesting first round.
Yeah, could be very interesting. Yeah.
Dottie, before we get totally into the Masters, can you give me your take on what happened, and do you agree with what happened to Lexi Thompson over the weekend at the LPGA event?
I do agree, and here's why. The LPGA played by the rules of golf. They did what they had to do when there was evidence that a violation had occurred. And whether that came, I know a lot of people are saying, well, how can that happen from an armchair quarterback on 24 hours later or whatever? Well, it can. Now, if you want to address that separately, then that's something that needs to be addressed separately. But there was a rules violation. She signed an incorrect scorecard. And unless the rules had been changed beginning in 2016, she would have been disqualified. And instead was still playing golf, still in contention with a 4-shot penalty. So for everybody who's saying how harsh this was, had this happened 3 years ago, she wouldn't have even cashed a paycheck.
Wow. Dottie.
So I think that's the point that has been so completely glossed over. It happened because of the ruling bodies looking at what happened with Camilo Villegas in Kapalua a few years prior. He had committed a violation that got called in overnight, and the rules as they were then, he was out of there. She was still playing.
I did not know that. I did not know that she would have been disqualified had this rule not changed. That said, Dottie, would you change the rule? Would you change the rule to not allow viewers to call in a penalty?
I think if it needs to change, and that's up for debate for a lot of people as well, I think you establish a time after that round has finished, after those scorecards have been made. And once that expires, then fine. Then we're done. But here's the other thing. Everybody says, well, what happens if this happened on Monday? It could have happened on Monday if Lexi Thompson had implicated herself, and this is the only way it could happen. If she implicated herself in a rules violation and picked up the phone to the LPGA and said, whoa, I did this. I didn't get this penalty correct. I therefore signed the wrong scorecard. That competition goes from closed to open.
Dottie, did you think Lexi knew? And just did she know that she had made a mistake here?
I don't know. I would look at the video and look at it again and again, and everything I come up with is that she was careless. Was it intentional? I highly doubt it. It's going to be a pretty tough way to play for the rest of your career if that was intentional.
Yeah.
But careless, I think, is the word. And look, nobody likes getting penalized. Nobody likes being in violation of the rules, but that's what it is. And golf is different. Players call penalties on themselves, and people do call in. That's what sets golf apart.
It certainly has happened before. This is not the first time,
right.
Dottie.
That's exactly right.
It's not the first time in this sport, for sure. Dottie Pepper with us from Augusta, ESPN, CBS golf analyst. Dottie, is there an overwhelming favorite here going into the start of the tournament that everyone is talking about?
On form, it would have to be Dustin Johnson, wouldn't it? Number one in the world. He's won the 2 starts since he became number one in the world with a win in L.A., but there are also a lot of other guys that are coming in here on great form. John Rahm from Spain has that little flair that Seve had playing around here. I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see who gets out of the box well on Thursday with this changeable weather forecast. And I think with this forecast, the start is going to be incredibly important.
Are there any notables that you think may be in the hunt?
Wow. I keep waiting for Brandt Snedeker to break out here because this place means so much to him, and he has such a great imagination. He putts the ball so well. He's been in contention before. I keep waiting for that guy to walk away with a green jacket. There are a few others. I mean, Justin Thomas, 3 wins already. He's somebody to certainly look at, although he hasn't played great in the last month. I put those 2 on a pretty short list, and who do Garcia may finally break through. Who knows?
Hey, Dottie, whose career would benefit the most from a green jacket? McIlroy would take home his first. Dustin Johnson, you already mentioned him, world number 1, would take home his first. Or Phil, a 4th jacket would tie him with Tiger and Arnie.
McIlroy. And why? Because it would complete the career Grand Slam for him. In 2011, he gave up a 4-shot lead, standing on the 10th tee with a ball that in most other places would have been out of bounds, but was still in play here. I think it would do the most for him. Mickelson would certainly be the feel-good story if he wanted to go down that road, tying those greats with 4 green jackets. But I think it would do the most for McIlroy.
Dottie, what's it take to win on this golf course? I mean, how difficult of a challenge is this?
Well, I think you need to put the ball in play. And it's a golf course that rewards angles. And it rewards angles because the greens, while they look enormous, are actually very small. These little tiny pockets and plateaus where they'll put the holes. I think that will be key, is controlling the golf ball. And when you do miss, having the guts to hit the really difficult shot to get to these holes. And I think you're going to need to, with this forecast again, you're going to need to make some 8-10 footers for par because not everybody's going to hit every green when it's blowing like this.
Dottie Pepper with us here on Big Board Sports. Hey, Dottie, John Craig, our buddy, just texted me that you picked Charles Schwartzel when he won this thing.
I did.
How many years? Is that a handful of years ago now? Who is your pick? I guess when it's all said and done, who's slipping on that green jacket?
Wow, I haven't been put in this big corner yet. I haven't really isolated it too much. I'm going with Jon Rahm. I'm going to go with the rookie. Okay. I think he could be the guy for the first time in nearly 40 years to do something that Fuzzy Zoeller did, and that was win his first time down Magnolia Lane.
Dottie, how about Jordan Spieth, who was on that 10th tee in the final round last year with that 5-shot lead, and we know what happened. What will be the mindset of Spieth coming in, and is he someone that can win this thing?
Most certainly. He's never finished worse than tied second here in 3 tries. I think he most certainly can win here. He loves this place, and he drives the golf ball in a nice shape to win here. I think he made a big step coming here in December. He made 2 early trips in, but the first was in December when he stood on that 12th tee with a bet between friends and fired an 8-iron in there just left of the right hole location that burned him last year on Sunday and made the putt for a 2. So I think history homework is going to go a long way to helping him get over that quad that he made last year when he did have the lead. But everybody talks about 12 and the big number he made there. He started the process by bogeying 10 and 11. So that started the bleeding, and that was the bad news bearer there.
And Dottie, I'm reading here from George Willis, who I enjoy his work in the New York Post, and his lead graph was there was a 40-minute media conference call with ESPN broadcasters recently about the upcoming Masters, and there was not one question about Danny Willett, the 2016 Masters champion. Not a single one.
Right?
I
think there's probably people who go, "Oh, who did win last year?"
Right,
but they know who lost.
So does Danny Willett have any? What's the resume here recently of Willett? Could he defend his title?
Danny Willett's playing bad golf right now.
Okay,
he has not been healthy. He got sick at one of the earlier events in Orlando, I believe it was, but not playing very good golf. He had back injury late in the fall that took him out of the World Cup, and he just hasn't found any traction. That would be a miracle turnaround.
Dottie, we know your close relationship, and I've enjoyed the stories over the past few days that you've told, between you and Arnold Palmer. What will Thursday be like before the first tee shot is hit without Arnie there, the first time in 63 years that the King has not been at the Masters?
Well, I think the first big difference is going to be noticed tonight at the Champions Dinner. There won't be any Arnold there. And, that's certainly nothing that we're all privy to being a part of, but that'll be the first big change, I think, for players who have won this tournament. And then, 7:40 on Thursday morning when only Jack and Gary go to the tee, it'll be very, very different. He had his highs and lows here. He doubled the last hole to lose in 61, came back and won in 62, so he won in 58, 60, 62, 64. This guy owned this place for a decade.
Yeah.
And it really, I think he changed golf because of people seeing him on television at this golf tournament. And it is going to be starkly different without him here.
No doubt. Love Arnie Palmer, man. No doubt. Latrobe, Pennsylvania, right over.
There you go.
Close to my old stomping grounds and Arnie's Army. He made his way through the Capital Region too back in the day.
Sure.
He came here, played. Sure. I don't know what course he was on when he came into town, but he came here and was gracious in every way, and a lot of great memories of Arnie Palmer. And it sounds like, Dottie, that once you get to Thursday, the lead story might very well be this weather forecast, huh?
Yeah, it's going to be starkly different. I mean, literally, it is the most perfect day here right now. The breeze is maybe 5-10 miles an hour, hardly a cloud to be found. But they tell us tomorrow is going to be rock and roll, and then Thursday, backside of a storm, and things do a 180. And I think it also is a golf course that if you've taken good notes over the last years when it did blow from that direction and that sort of velocity, if you've got those in your back pocket, it could be a big help.
Dottie Pepper, always a pleasure coming on our program here, Big Board Sports in Albany on ESPN Radio for a few minutes. Enjoy the weekend, and again, thanks for coming on the program.
I enjoyed it.
Thanks,
Have
Dottie.
a great weekend.
Thank you too, Dottie.